Hey everybody, this is Cherokee Edwards from Cherokee Edwards Inspires, where we're going to have shows here to talk about life, to talk about what makes your life special, what makes it better, and everybody working together, because together everyone achieves more. Acronym for the word team. Stay tuned and let's get it on. We are back on the Cherokee Edwards show, and I have a great friend of mine and a partner really in crime and business. This is Jeremy Forrest of forrest.law. Jeremy, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, all things considered.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm telling you, we have to take a break for a little bit and talk about some lively stuff.
Well, the bad news for Patriots fans is Tom Brady has decided to move on from the Patriots. That's the only thing we've been talking about today.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of New Englanders that are not real happy, and a lot of Patriots fans around the world a little upset about this free agency this year.
Yeah, well, as a recovering Dolphins fan, I welcome any bad news about the Patriots, the Jets, and the Bills.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They can all just go ahead and take some shelter in that basement for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, because hey, there's a lot of stuff going on in there in that free agency market. But I tell you, we do some work together, and we've done some work together. I guess I want to talk a little bit about what you see as any type of issues in. First of all, let's talk about your business. Let's talk about what it is that you do and why you set up, forrest.law.
Yeah. So I'm an attorney, and name is right there in the business. My name's Jeremy Forrest, and I started Forrest Law Center to focus on helping people navigate the intricacies of the legal world and how, especially planning, and how the law affects their personal lives and their business lives.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people I became a lawyer, and it wasn't like just going and exploring different careers and it happened upon it.
Right.
I was that kid that whenever we opened up a board game, I would take the rules and I would read the rules.
Oh yeah,
start to finish.
You were a lawyer right then.
And and I would do things like somebody would try and pull a fast one on me, and I would just go, nope.
Yep.
Read the rules.
That's
it's not
right.
in the rules.
That's right.
And just having the knowledge of the rules and how they operate and how the rules really set up the game.
Right.
That's step one. That's how you get a step up on whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Okay.
And so I focus on estate planning and business planning. I help people develop strategies and create plans so that as they're living life and as they're starting their business, they know that they're set up the right way and that they're going to be taken care of because they have that strong foundation in place.
Exactly. So I know what I think and what I've listened to you say for time and time again. Tell the listeners the importance of what you just said. Give us an example of what happens when someone is not well prepared, as you're talking about, like let's say the estate planning.
Yeah. So let's take something that lots of people have dealt with or experienced, and that is the not the loss of a loved one, but the decline of a loved one.
Right.
It's a grandparent or a parent or another family member, a close friend, and they might be getting old. They might be losing the ability to take care of themselves.
Right.
Or it might be that they're young and something sudden happens and they're not themselves anymore. They can't take care of themselves anymore.
Right.
Now, as long as you have your mental faculties, as long as you're able to reason and understand what's being presented to you, you can create an estate plan.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that don't create an estate plan and they lose the ability to understand the world around them, then they can't create documents, these things that we consider estate plans.
Right.
And they're left without that safety net of having others around them empowered to be able to take care of them and handle their day-to-day affairs.
Right.
So take, for example, an elderly person that has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia.
Right.
And they've lost the ability to understand the world around them. If you stuck a sheet of paper in front of them and told them what they were about to sign, they really couldn't explain it to you or understand.
Right.
Right. And you've got family members that need to help them pay the bills, need to make medical decisions, need to make decisions about where they're going to live. And if they haven't created an estate plan, then that family is going to have to go through the court system to become that person's guardian and conservator. That means that the family is going to have to sue their loved one and go through a legal process, just have a judge say, you're the person that can make those decisions for your loved one.
Right.
Process is time consuming, it's expensive, and on the other end, anything that your loved one does for you is now going to be subject to court supervision, ongoing court supervision.
Wow. Yeah, that's important. What would you say as far as the issues that you see on a day-to-day basis? Like, which one do you see more of as a situation?
So I see a lot of people who think that they can shortcut a comprehensive estate planning session or a comprehensive estate plan creation process. They think that they can bypass the kind of work that goes involved and the kind of thought that goes involved in creating an estate plan that really works for them and doesn't have the kind of unintended consequences that they don't think about.
Right.
What happens a lot, something that I see a lot, is people will add somebody like a kid to their checking and banking accounts.
Right.
Right. And in fact, this happened last year. I met with a woman and she had told me that she added her daughter to her bank accounts so that if something were to happen to her, her daughter could just step in and start paying the bills.
Right.
The thing they don't understand is when you add somebody to the bank account, you make them the co-owner of that bank account.
Wow. Yes.
All right. Bad decision for two big reasons. One is if your daughter's not making all the best decisions, she's got unpaid credit cards, she's got debts, maybe she's about to go through a divorce. All of a sudden, because her name is added as an owner to that bank account, all the daughter's problems can now go on and the mom could be left dealing with the daughter's problems.
Right.
On the other side, when the mom dies, that bank account is going to be considered the daughter's property. She's going to inherit that bank account. Now, with this woman that I met with, she had two kids. She had a daughter and a son, and she wanted to make sure that both of them got everything equally, a 50-50 split when she died.
Right.
And she didn't realize that by putting her daughter on the bank account, that was going to cut out the son from inheriting that specific asset.
Wow.
So you think that you're being smart, you think that you're saving money.
Right.
By not going to an attorney, not creating a formal estate plan.
Or having a normal will.
Right. Power of attorney, things like that. And you're just creating problems down the road that you're not going to be around to be able to fix.
Wow.
And so that's why it's so important to talk to an expert and understand the value. Right. And I tell people all the time that cost is important. Cost is a factor of value.
Yes.
But cost isn't everything about value.
That's true. Well, I know, Jeremy, that you host dinner parties, group meetings and sessions. What's the advantage of that? What's the advantage of you doing those group sessions?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't really call them dinner parties, but I do host.
I'm sorry. That's my world, guys.
That's okay. Yeah. I do host estate planning workshops from time to time.
Right.
And what I do is I seek to educate people about how to go through the correct process to develop an estate plan.
Okay.
Right. An estate plan, if you think of an estate plan as a product, the end product is going to be different from person to person.
Right.
Right. It could very well be that no two people have the same estate plan.
Right.
But the process of creating that product can be the same for almost everybody. And in the process is going through and identifying what you need, what your goals are, and what's appropriate for your situation. And I've actually broken that down into 10 steps for a comprehensive estate plan.
Now, is the 10 step, is that universal, or is that like a flow that a client could actually see yours 1 through 10, and basically 5 different people can do that same process?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I work with clients, we go through that whole process.
Okay.
And it starts with step 1
Mhm.
is getting organized.
Right.
You can't know what you need, and we can't identify goals
Right.
without knowing what you have. So we start with getting organized.
Mhm.
And so when I work with people, everything starts with getting organized.
Right.
And I have a worksheet that I send out to people. And before we even meet for the first time, I give them instructions on what they need to bring to me, what they need to get together. And for everybody that I meet with, whether they move on and hire me to develop an estate plan with them
Mhm.
or not, they know that when they meet with me, they've done some work and they see the value in what I've done with them,
Right.
even before the first meeting.
Right.
And so we do step 1, and that informs how we go about doing steps 2 through 10.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
And some of the steps we can do at the same time.
Mhm.
Okay. It's not do step 1, then 2, then 3.
Right.
It can be we do step 1, and then we can work on steps 2 through 5 at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But if we break it down into step by step, we understand that we're doing specific tasks
Right.
within each step.
The goal is set at that point.
Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
now they know where they want to go and where they want to be.
Right.
So you're actually structuring that.
Yeah.
Right. So when you meet a client, like, what is your ideal? I know that you love to do the estate planning, but you also do business
I do.
law.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the business law.
Yeah. So business law it's kind of similar to estate planning. You're trying to set up a plan and put that in place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I think about every day because that's my industry, that's my world. But
Mhm.
for most of my clients, they like to see that work put in place, and then they go and do what their business is about.
Right.
Okay. Right. If your business is about running a restaurant, you want to go run that restaurant. You want to be in the kitchen. You want to be in the front of the house. You want to have a great experience for your customers.
Right.
But you don't want to have to think about, all right, well, is my corporation up to date?
Right.
If something were to happen where, somebody got food poisoning in my restaurant, I'm going to be left on the hook because I didn't have the right insurance in place and I didn't keep my corporation up to date. So all of a sudden they're suing me personally. So I develop a plan for people who set up businesses
Mm-hmm.
based on their vision and their goals for their business. And we set that plan in place so that they can go and do their business and be successful, knowing that the foundation is in place and it's going to work for them.
Right. Now, what would you suggest? I know that I hear about it doing training and workshops with young entrepreneurs or just starting entrepreneurs. When would you think it would be more prudent for them to get with you on the stage of setting up that business?
So a lot of people fall into one of two categories when they're just getting off the ground. Okay. One is they have a business idea
Mm-hmm.
and they're just trying to formulate that idea and see what works with that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is they have an expertise. They have a specific expertise that they're going to turn into their business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let me give examples of both. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the first one, this I have a business idea,
Mm-hmm.
is maybe you've got this artistic talent and you want to start putting your designs on t-shirts and clothing and start up your own clothing line.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a concept, but you need to test your concept, right? You need to know if that concept is going to work.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, I recommend to those people, let's test your concept before we start investing lots of money, lots of time. You quit your day job to focus full time on this concept.
Right.
Okay. So I can work with people at that stage,
mm-hmm.
but from the legal perspective, it's more about identifying the pitfalls of testing your concept, and then identifying the milestones when you need to start stepping up your foundation and start building your foundation more structured so that you can keep building the business up.
Right.
On the other side, there's the people that have the specific expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an attorney, and I was an attorney before I started my own law firm.
Right.
So I had an expertise and decided that I was going to use my expertise and start my own business to sell my expertise.
Right.
In that situation, it's less about testing your concept because you have some years of work
Right.
to know that what you do works.
Right.
And it's more about identifying why specifically you want to start your business.
Mm-hmm.
And let's make sure that you're starting your business for the right reasons.
Right.
And that you're going to run your business like a business and not just a job that you do yourself by yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's set up that foundation, and then we can go ahead and set up the legal foundation so that you're ready to step right in and build and take off from that foundation on that side.
Okay. That's great. All right. We're going to break for a minute from a word from our sponsor.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So, Jeremy, with all this knowledge, I know you did the thing with the games, right? And you made everybody know you got to follow these rules. I know the rules, right? How long did you say to yourself, I want to be a lawyer? How long, take me back to when you decided that.
Yeah. So it wasn't an overnight thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I like to laugh at the lawyer jokes just like everybody else.
There's a lot of them.
You know, my favorite scene in Jurassic Park was when the T-Rex ate the lawyer.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny one.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But over time, it just sort of developed. So this friend of mine was talking to me. He was saying that these burglars are just getting so smart these days, right? And he was saying he was asleep last week in the middle of the night. His wife woke him up. He said, honey, there's a noise downstairs. I think somebody's broken into the house. And he jumped up and he grabbed a baseball bat from his closet and ran downstairs in the kitchen, turned on the light, didn't see anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped for a second. He was like, wait a second. I don't have a wife. And he ran upstairs.
That's the burglar.
And his TV and his laptop and smartphone were missing.
The wife was the burglar.
Both of my parents were teachers. And I grew up in this family that really valued helping other people and working with other people.
Right.
But not just doing things for other people. It was about empowering other people.
Right.
And I even thought for a while I wanted to be a teacher. So I went and I took classes to get my teaching certificate. This was after I graduated from college.
Right.
And I got in the classroom and I was in front of 30 kids, and I decided I did not want to be in front of 30 kids day in and day out.
Right.
Trying to teach them.
Exactly.
It's just not
He
me.
said, that's not you.
Yeah. So before that, I'd actually sat and took the LSAT. That's the test you take as part of the law school application process.
Right.
I took the LSAT in 2008, right after I graduated from college. And I kind of let that sit, didn't follow through. After I decided I didn't want to be a teacher in 2010, I actually got a job working for a lawyer and worked at a law firm for several years to make sure that that was what I wanted to do.
That was very smart, I think.
And so in 2012, I sat and I took the LSAT again, and I applied to law schools, and I applied to William & Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. That was the only law school I applied to. Said if I don't get into William and Mary in Virginia, which is where I'm from, then I'm going to go and move to California and go to law school in California or something.
Oh, wow. I'm glad it worked for you here.
I got into William and Mary, so I'm still in Virginia.
That's right.
I'm not, like surfing every day and or something.
Right.
But over time, it was just more about knowing that I had this skill to read through all the rules, figure out, this complicated maze of what the law is, because the law is more than just statutes and what the legislature passes. The law is also what the courts say, applies to everyday life and in particular situations. And understanding that I had this skill to kind of navigate through that and take what people were coming, if they were coming with problems or they were coming with questions, to understand that I could help them navigate through those situations. And I like to take a practical spin on that and know that when I'm giving people advice, that I'm really applying it to what their particular situation is. And if it's more than just, hey, this statute says this, so go do this.
Right.
Maybe we say, look, you've got this particular family situation. You've got, if you're trying to make an estate plan and you've got two kids that don't get along, they haven't spoken to each other in 3 years, then maybe we don't, put them in a situation in your estate plan where they can fight with each other.
Right.
And ruin this whole estate plan that you've made for yourself.
Right. Wow. Seems like it's a lot of information and knowledge that needs to go into the structure of this.
It is. And it's hard to put it all down so that anybody else can just pick up the manual and know what I'm doing.
Right.
And as an industry, I think that's where the legal industry is kind of struggling to advance.
Right.
There's all this technology. We talk about automating industries and automating the legal industry in particular. And I know that lots of people, they go online, they go to like the LegalZoom.
I was going to ask you about this. That's going to be a question.
Right?
Yeah.
That's great if you already know what you're looking for.
Right.
But if you don't know what you're looking for, it's good to have an advisor to walk you through that process.
And obviously I agree with that because, like I said, I try to stay close to you myself as a business owner myself. When people, I need to ask this question because I know my listeners probably have already participated, and I know a lot of people do it. What would you say the difference between you and, say, prepaid legal?
Yeah. So, and I'll say first that I don't know a lot about prepaid legal, but I do know a little bit. And my understanding of prepaid legal is you pay a monthly fee. And if you have a question, you can call up and speak to a lawyer, and the lawyer will answer your question for you.
Right.
Right. And then there are some plans where you might pay a fee to have what might be called legal insurance. And then you can go and then you can actually meet with an attorney. If you want to create an estate plan, then that's paid for through your legal insurance. What they don't see is that the attorneys aren't getting paid very much.
Right.
On that other side.
Right.
And it's just basic economics, and I hate to say it.
No, it's true.
If you're not being paid a lot, or if you're not being paid what the going rate is for your time and expertise,
right,
you're not going to put a lot of time and effort into it.
That's right.
And again, a lot of these plans are structured so that you get X, Y, and Z product.
Right.
Okay. You can get a will and a power of attorney and healthcare directive, but you may not get the exact documents tailored the way that you need them to be. Or maybe the will isn't the best way to set up your estate, or maybe you have specific concerns about your power of attorney.
Right.
So, I understand that there's a lot of pressure. There's the reputation that attorneys are expensive and we cost a lot of money. And I certainly do agree with that, right? It's not the cheapest
Right.
option to go is to hire your own attorney
Right.
until you understand the value and the amount that you're saving in the long run, and just the peace of mind of knowing that you've gotten the tailored plan and tailored legal assistance that you need to set things up the way that they need to be set up, and that you're taken care of and your family's taken care of.
Okay. And obviously you and I have done work with my clients too, and helping them. So I can attest to how great you are with that personal touch, what I believe is the ultimate difference. And that's in me with the outside look into what you do. So as we get ready to wrap this up, Jeremy, why don't you tell the listeners your easiest way to be reached?
Yeah, I work primarily through phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody wants to be digital and online. The best way to get a hold of my firm is to call me. The local number is 757-273-0700. You call that number and somebody will either pick up the phone or return the phone call the same day and speak to you and be able to assess your situation and set up an appointment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a website, www.forrest.law. That's FORREST.LAW. You can learn more about my firm there. Mm-hmm. And then you can even get some resources to learn more about estate planning and business planning and educate yourself so that you can be empowered as you move forward in whatever area that you're moving forward in.
All right. Well, that's the Forrest Law Center. And everybody, I really hope you wrote some stuff down, because it's real out here. It's real out here. You have to be prepared. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. I want you to ride this life till the wheels fall off, but be prepared and take care of the families in the after effect. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you so much for getting on here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, buddy. We're all good.